And now we should be able to right click and move to hotbar. That works. We should also be able to remove from hotbar. Hey there, I'm your host Lesoe, and this is part 16 of our inventory series. In today's video, we'll be creating the Move to Hotbar function. So with that said, let's begin. Let's start by going to the content drawer, our inventory system folder, and the inventory component. Now, once inside, we'll go ahead and create a new function called check inventory. And inside, we want two inputs. We want one for the destination inventory. We're comparing two, which is going to be our hotbar. So this needs to be an inventory type component. So we'll do inventory, ppc underscore inventory. And our next input is going to be this source slot. So the item we want to check, and we'll do s underscore item slot. From here, we want to do get item slots. So our target inventory there, we'll do a for each loop, and we just want to compare the item IDs. So we'll do break. We can break this open as well and do equals, plug them in. We also want to check if this item ID, so we'll do get item ID, get item data, has enough space in it to add the same item. So we want to break and get the slot quantity. So if this item quantity is less than the max stack size, so the slot quantity here, we can add more. So therefore, let's add. And we'll just get a and boolean. So both of these values have to be true. Plug this into a branch. So B left mouse again, loop body. Let's compile so we see what's happening. Okay. And while this is going on, we can hide the item quantity here. That's not necessary for us. Let's straighten this stuff out. And we want to return the success. So we'll make this a boolean. And if it's true, you just want to return success, just true. And then we want to also add the index. So index can come from the array element in here. Reroute that. Select both, press Q, and this can be called index. And we also want the item slot, which will come from the array element. Can I reroute you like this, perhaps? There we go. Nice enough. And we can call it item slot. And there we have it. Also, let's Control C that, Control V, uncompleted. If this doesn't return here, it'll eventually return here. So it'll do false. Index will be -1, indicate a negative value, and the item slot is empty. Let's compile and save. Next, let's go ahead and create another function, which we can call to move to inventory. Now inside here, again, we want the two inputs. We want the destination inventory, and this time we want the index. So for the inventory, we'll do inventory component, ppc underscore inventory, and index is an integer. Next, let's grab a S left mouse for a sequence node, and I want to update it on 1. So to update our inventory, let's go to the event graph and grab the update inventory. So on 1, we go in here. We also want to get the destination inventory and also update it. So plug it into the target to a second update inventory node. And after all of that has been done, let's do get source slot, which I don't have in here. So what to do is I'll get the item slots. I'll do a get a copy of this index here. So get index. And now what we have is, let's promote you to a local source slot. We'll do local source slot. And this goes on 0. So, and once we have that, let's get it. And we want to do break Let's do get item sound effects. We have the sound effects here. Break it open. And since we're moving, we want to get the move, and we'll do play item sound effects function. Move goes there and hide everything you don't need. And there we go. That's pretty much it for the sound effects. Next, we'll go ahead and grab the destination inventory again. And from here, we want to check inventory. On this node, let's also make it pure. And destination inventory goes to destination, and source slot goes to source slot. After this, let's grab a branch. And if success is true, we'll go ahead, and if false, we'll go ahead with something else. From here, let's grab this index and do promote to a local underscore matching index. Like so. This can go in true. And let's do get item slots. We'll do set array element. The index can come from get index at the very bottom. Like so. Execution pin goes in there. And let's break this open. Leave this to be empty. And what we want to do is let's get the source slot and break it open. We want the item ID or the item quantity plus the item quantity from here. So I'll break that open as well. Add those two and promote them to a local variable, local underscore total sum. And this will come out the other end here. So we can hide the item ID, this guy and this guy, make it look a little bit cleaner. And there we have it. Okay. From here, we want to go ahead and check if this sum is greater than the sum from this guy. Let's make the item ID available and do get item data and just get the total amount that would fit in the slot, so slot quantity. Hide all of that and do a break, a branch. And on false, we want to get the source slot, change it to the item ID, get the destination variable, and we'll do add to new slot. Item ID comes from here. Total sum is the item quantity, and the index is the local matching index. Let's just straighten this out. Go on false. So that's false. This is what's going to happen. And before we go ahead on true on this branch, on false here, what we want to do is let's grab another branch. And we want to do get destination inventory. Do any slots available. And if there are slots available, we'll plug this in here. And that way, what we'll do is this index will be promoted to local underscore available index. Untrue. Next, again, we want to set the array element to be none and 0. And at the very end, we'll add to new slot, which can come from pretty much this. But the index, it needs to be our local available index. The total quantity is not this. Item ID and the slot quantity will be the local source slot. Split that. Plug it in there like so. Okay. Next, we'll go off on true. So from here, again, I want the destination inventory. Let's grab the add to new slot. So on true, we come out here. And the item ID will come from the source slot. We can get the matching index, like so. Go in there. The item quantity, what we'll do is we'll break or no, we'll do get item data. And we want to get the slot quantity. So local total sum minus the slot quantity will give us the new total quantity. Like that. Let's hide all of this. Straighten it out a little bit. Okay, a little messy. Okay, so from here, the item quantity is going to be the total sum available to us, that item. And then we minus whatever we get, and we get a remainder sum. And this remainder sum, then we want to check the inventory again, like we did here. So we'll copy that, get a branch, paste it. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Select this and this and that, Control C, Control V. The source slot is coming from the source slot. So next, we'll go ahead and get the destination inventory again to get item slots. We'll do get a copy of this index here. Let's do a reroute. We'll also promote you to a matching index set on true, like this. And we can break this open. Now we got the item quantity, which we can add to the local total sum. And we get a new total sum again, set here, like that. And that's nice. Let's also deal with false before we go ahead there. So on false, we'll grab a branch. And again, destination inventory, we'll do any slots available, condition goes in there. And if that's the case, we want to get the source slot, break it open to get the item ID. And again, destination inventory to add to new slot, and true. Item ID goes in there. Oops. The index is going to be the index that we found to be matching. And the item quantity is the total sum. There we go. Okay. Now, once we've gone past here and we have an index, we'll go ahead. And with this total sum again, we want to check if this is going to be greater than this max amount. So get item data. So a lot of repetition in here. We'll do break and just see if this slot quantity, whoops, is greater. If that's the case, go into branch. On false, we can pretty much steal this, put it in here. Let me just see. Destination inventory, item ID is correct. Item quantity, total sum, and the index, we want to be the matching index. Now on true, we want to pretty much steal this again. Go in here, a little bit more messy. So we want to get the item data and basically set the maximum slot quantity. Oops, that's sound effects. Get item data, and the maximum slot quantity is essentially going to go in the quantity here. And index is the local matching index. Hide that. Give me some space. And from this, we can do local total sum. Well, minus the whatever amount, the maximum amount, we get a remainder again. And the idea is we're going to go in a loop. So set this to the local total sum. And we want to loop back to see if this can happen again. So double click on this, double click on that, and we just reroute that like so. And let's compile and save. Next, inside of our inventory system folder, let's open up the UI. And in here, we want to open up the item tool widget. So let's double click on that and we'll go into the event graph. And let's create a new function called check move to hotbar. And we'll do get player character. We'll do get component by class. And we want to check our hotbar component. Let's get the inventory component and compare these two. So not equals, exclamation point equals. And if that's the case, we can do button move to hotbar and we'll do action name. No, what's this called? Get name, get text, get text, I guess that's what we called it. And from here, we'll do set text and we'll do a select text. That's the condition. And if the inventories if this is true, we'll do move to hotbar. And if it's false, we'll do remove from hotbar. And then this can go on the execution. So, and let's compile and save that. On event construct, then let's go ahead and implement this last function in here. And let's compile and save. Next, let's go ahead and create a new function called on move to hotbar. And in here, what we'll do is we'll get the player character. We'll do get component by class. We want our hotbar in here. We also want to get a hold of our inventory. Do a is valid. Like so. And we'll do a branch. The condition is going to be if the get inventory component is not equal to this inventory. Let's just reroute that. The condition. And then if that's the case, we'll get the inventory. Untrue, we'll do move to inventory. Destination inventory is coming from here, so we can reroute that a little bit as well. And the index is our get index. Do we have this here? We do. Okay. And at the very end, we'll do remove from parent. Then on false, we'll do is valid again for this guy. And we want to move to hotbar. And the target will be us here again. So another reroute, like so, of rerouting. And destination inventory is going to come from here. Like so, and the index is the index again. At the very end, we remove from parent. That's pretty much it. So let's compile and save. And lastly, we need to go on action clicked and just add in our move to hotbar function. So on move to hotbar, so compile and save. And let's close this down and see if this is working. So let's hit play, pick some stuff up. And if we right click on these items, we should get an option, move to hotbar, moves. Okay, remove from hotbar. But if I move it around here and go to remove from hotbar, works. Move to hotbar. Very nice. So this is it for the video. In the next episode, we'll be creating the use item function. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like. And as always, happy developing.